And we're live. Sound check. See how it works. And we're live. And we have sound. The reason why it was delayed is because if you guys can hear it, maybe I have rain up the yin yang. It's really, really, really bad, and it was super loud, and I couldn't hear nothing. Plus, I wanted to finish the editing of some of my stuff. A lot of things is going to pop this weekend. I know I said that last weekend, but then all the rain came and all the work was there. But today we're going to talk about this bad boy right here, DJI FPV drone. And I have been flying it now, and probably you guys was bombarded already with all the new videos from everybody else. I'm just going to show you guys a real quick clip. This is the first time that anybody is going to see this. And let's see, share a screen and share the audio. And let me turn this off real quick. Oh, I'm not turning off the wrong one. Nope. There we go. I'm going to share this with you guys, and I'm going to turn off my microphone real quick so you guys can watch the audio with this. Well, as you guys can see, the weather is total crap. Let's look what comes with the DJI Fly Mode combo. as you guys have seen it, this is my unboxing video. It's probably one of the fastest unboxing videos in the world. I just wanted to just do a quick unboxing to show you guys what comes with the Firmware combo, which includes the batteries, the propellers, and everything else. Probably most of you guys know it already, but just to get the unboxing out of the way. I have more videos that's going to drop, including my first flights and everything else. So let me address the chat real quick with you guys. I've seen there's so many guys online, and like I said, I'm sorry for the delay, but that rain was so loud that I could not even hear myself. So hello to Hot Rod in Daytona and Mike O'Connell, who's been here earlier. We have a lot of chat going through. So Harley, what's up, Harley? How you doing, my man? And then Brad Berry. We have Sunrise Water Media. We have Lee Bissing, and we have Lon in the house. I seen Lon. What's up, my man? And I seen somebody else from Alaska, Rollover Beethoven, Magic in here. Poach on the Loose. What's up, my man? And Eat More Possum, Midwest Services. So that is my unboxing video. I figured unboxing videos should be pretty quick usually, because if you just watch somebody just taking things out of a box, it kills me. It just totally kills me. It's like, get to the point, man. I want to see what's in it, what comes with it. So what does come with it is the goggles itself, together with the wire that has the battery for it. It does not come with these fat straps. The fat straps are like $12. It comes with the headgear. And I used the headgear like once or twice before the fat straps came in. And I don't actually like it because it goes like over your head and it's not as solid. Once you get fat straps on it, this battery pack does not go in your pocket anymore. You can actually put it on the side over here in one small pocket together with the wiring, and then just take off the goggles whenever you're done with it, which is really good. It comes with these screw-on antennas that go on all four corners of this, which I bought there's like an inlay where you can clip these in, and it goes on the inside of these goggles that you can put it in. Because these goggles on the inside over here, when you look this part right here, you do not want to have any sunlight hitting it directly because it damages apparently the stuff on the inside. So I've been told. I also brought some footage that I'm going to share with you guys, which had to do with sort of like my third flight, I think. And then I found an FPV pilot that I actually ran into. His name is Alika. I ran into him and I simply asked him if he would be willing to fly this bad boy. And he was very nervous about it, but he put up, that was his first time he ever flew that DJI FPV. It was set to my rates, which were pretty high. They were the first time that Original Adobo posted some rates about flying. I took off the attitude limitation for that as well. And I just gave it to him and told the guy, hey, let's do this. We actually loosened up this controller part right here, that it is more likely for him to use as FPV. And he said it's just like a heavier rig. So that's why I wanted to talk to you guys about it. Who's this drone for? What does it come with? And we'll chat about all that stuff. I see Jack of all trades is in here. What's up? We have Dino Petrocelli in here. What's up, my man? And Albany. Oh, okay. What's up, brother? Curious about this FPV, but still not sure if I'm going to pick it up or not. So let me get to the part of getting all this stuff out of the way. These three batteries that come with it, one does come with the regular Firmware combo. And then these two are add-ons in a smaller box together with the multi-port charger. The way this multi-port charger is kind of weird because you're not quite sure if you should put the stuff on the top or on the bottom, like however, because it shows you like indentions that you can put them next to each other. But the way I did it usually is I put the batteries on the bottom and then just plug these guys in. Afterwards, it belongs actually this way. They charge up pretty quick. So I used all three packs, all three battery packs. I burned them all. Then I came back. I let them rest for like 15 minutes to cool off. And then I put it in. And within the hour, while reviewing my footage on my drone, all three were fully charged. So the output of this charging hub is very powerful. So that does come with the Firmware combo. Firmware combo is $1,600. Which brings me to the value of this thing. Because if your intention is to get into scene and lift, drone, FPV sort of touching kind of thing, and you are a GPS pilot just like I am, and you want to add on those shots, those dive shots and the turn shots. We all know that we can lock certain gimbals of certain drones like the Paradigm into place so that you get the banking part done. The thing that you don't get with it is the diving. Going down like this, coming down from somewhere this way towards a longer turn and then veering off this way. There is some footage for that that makes it really nice. This is not a freestyle drone. This is a sort of stunt drone if you want to, and it's not a racing drone either. This is more like a cine lift. This is more like an affordable cine lift. So if you want to get into FPV, you want to touch it, the value you get out of this, and I'll get to that later, is totally unbeatable. Simply in comparison to if you want to build it. Because to start off small, if you want to build it and you want to go digital, you got to buy the goggles, $600 something. You have to buy a remote controller. Plenty of people go with the Tango 2, which is very similar to this, I've been told, which is another $400. You had $1,000 already. Then you build the FPV drone itself, which is the 5-inch. Yeah, it has a more solid frame. You have 6S batteries, but it's about the convenience and about the not having to build and getting to learn to solder certain things, to put the motors into place, to run the wires, to get all this stuff done, have the right receiver, and then have a camera in the front. Now, if you want to have footage off of this bad boy, off of your camera, which is usually like you throw a GoPro on top. GoPros, depending on which type of GoPro you pick up, they run in between $250 and $500. Including together with the other stuff, you're going to end up with $1,600, including the battery packs that you're going to pick up, the chargers you have to pick up, and then the inconvenience about not knowing how to charge certain things and investing the time into getting the knowledge of building this whole thing. That's where this comes into play. I do not have the time personally to build any of that. I do want to have something where I can put that scene style. Let me pull up my video. So this is me flying. I want to share the screen right now. I don't need audio for that. So this is me. Oh, yo. What happened there? Oh, yo. Okay, let me put this there. Let's not share the screen right now. Let's share the screen one more time. What the hell was that? Share. There we go. So this is me flying this FPV bad boy at the beach. And I'm trying certain things right now. So I'm in full acro mode right now. And I'm doing my best to keep it above water, above land, and just getting those smooth shots in, making sure I don't hit the forward stick. The biggest part of a FPV versus GPS kind of drone type of guys, we use the right stick to go forward. With this, you use the right stick too, but you only lean forward. So you have to stop pushing the stick forward. So, and then you have to slightly adjust that you get those. You see how you slightly go down and then you try to go closer to the ground. So this is me. I'm a total noob. I don't know nothing. This is like my third flight, my third or fourth flight at Aquamode, trying not to have this thing crash and just trying to have some footage to come out of this in a nice manner somehow. And it's probably going to show a little bit jittery for you guys because of the transmission. Because I'm uploading a video at the same time as we speak. But you see how you get the banking part? You don't necessarily just sink down. You can do some banking and you can, and like I said, this is totally done by somebody like me who has no experience in FPV whatsoever at all. And it's I mean, you got to start somewhere, right? So now the hardest part is turns. So now for us, GPS pilots, if we turn, we usually use the right stick or usually the left stick in combination with the right stick a little bit. This one is the same way, but she doesn't level out herself. So you have to bring that back and you have to learn how to keep your horizon and how to match it inside there. And now I'm going to be approaching the coast right here. And then the sun starts coming out. So the camera actually is going to look better because earlier the sun was not shining. So it was kind of like cloudy, and then now when the sun comes out, you're going to see all the colors pop. So the camera quality on this thing in 4K is actually very, very, very nice, and I actually like it. So once you start color grading all that stuff, you're going to get way better footage. And I actually like this to add that on to my GPS stuff, where you can add it on, and then you're going to see me screwing up over here in just a little bit where I'm totally lost, like, where am I going to go? And now she's drifting off to the right. She's drifting backwards. Acro mode is not easy, guys. I tell you one thing, it's totally not easy. That stuff is something off the charts. It's something different. It's really something different. It's really, really, I don't know how to explain it, but acro mode, height is your best friend. I bring this bad boy up to like 300 feet, and I start putting into acro, and then I just go from there. As soon as I reach 100 feet, I hit the pause button. If I don't feel comfortable of where she's going at that time, because she can just go backwards too. So I didn't know that either. And then it has to do with you have to get used to it, really getting used to it. So I got this, like I said, I found this guy, and I actually met this guy. And it was the first time that I met him. I don't even know him, but he flew a 5-inch, and he was really good with it. So I asked him, and his name is Kalani. Is Alika, and I asked him to fly it, and he did. He literally just pulled this off right off the box with my settings, and he just flew it like this, just like that. This is what he was doing with this drone. And so it is capable of doing this whole freestyle sort of kind of thing, flying through tight objects and things. And it's, whoa, that is something, that's a total different level, you know. To get to this part, he's been flying for years. I asked him how long he's been flying. He's been building for years. He's been flying for years. And he hasn't really gotten into any GPS stuff, but he would like on his part to add on GPS to his thing. So if you look at this part right now, this is an experienced FPV pilot who actually knows what he's doing, where he's going. And he said, this is just like a heavier rig that he has. So a heavier rig, meaning that he has a rig that is heavy like the DJI FPV drone. And as you can see, it looks very beautiful. So I haven't gotten around to get me any of those ND filters yet. I ordered some, but they're not here yet. So I have to wait for those to come in. But throughout the series of these videos that are going to be popping out over the next couple of days, you guys are going to see everything and pretty much a lot of things that we talked about today, just in a shorter version, like the 8-9 minute version. Unboxing is like 1 minute and 30. So as you can see here, it is possible to get all this stuff flying like FPV should be flying. So because of that, this package right here itself in the deal, if you really want to get into FPV, if you really want to check it out, it is exhilarating. It is very, very exciting to get used to this stuff at first. Like I flew maybe like 1.5 minutes. I think the first time that I took off with this bird, I flew like 1.5 minutes in a regular mode. And that's when I got familiarized. Okay, so okay, I see the stuff through the goggles, not a problem. And I've seen it and it was really good. And then I was like, okay, let's go into sport mode. And in sport mode, you have sort of like already like a small dive that you can do, but nothing gravity-wise. Like you literally dive down like this. So you have to learn from the sport mode how she's going to behave. And acro mode is a little bit different. So there is an attitude limitation as well when you go into manual mode, where she allows you at first to take deeper dives. With that attitude limiter, it keeps your investment safe. If you don't try and right off the bat, like the first 5 flights, 10 flights, not even the first 100 flights, to go in between tight objects, underneath things, and try not to push yourself to the limits, you're not going to end up panicking. This has so many safety features that it should keep you safe. You should not be able to pick it up from somewhere, scrape it off the walls, because you have all these safety features. You have the pause button right here. The pause button is like super fast. You press it once and that drone is literally just stops you in your tracks. You're not going to go anywhere else. And that's the good thing. That's the beauty about it. To get to parts that like the propellers, after seeing the stuff from the FPV guy, Alika, his propellers are way better than the propellers that these guys come with. I shredded these propellers already because I ended up in the gutter. As you guys might have seen in Billy Kyle's show. These ones are pretty scratched up. They still feel good. They don't have no real damage except for like the tips and stuff are ripped off. But I'm not risking of using it. So that's why, for example, this one right here has like all these broken off tips and stuff. I will not reinstall this. So in order to break this, like let's say you store it. You see this? This is the plastic ones. You can just bend it like this and it stays that way. You see that? And if you want to bend it back, so we all know what happens with plastic once you bend it. So if you store this, these propellers in the wrong way, you're gonna have bent propellers, and I don't think that's right. I don't think that's good. So these propellers, they suck. So I hope that they're gonna bring out some better propellers that are really better. Besides that, when you think about the kinetic force that is on these propellers while she comes down from a dive and she spools up, and how much pressure there is from the bottom to hold this drone up like this, you can't tell me that these things last long. You know what I mean? Like, literally. Like, I mean, she makes a lot of noise. She's louder than a lot of things. I actually ended up disturbing a neighbor at some point. So Batuna just asked me if I tried the simulator. Let me tell you something about the simulator. The simulator is made for iOS at this point. I'm an Android guy, so I have everything is Android. My triple tech is Android. My phone is Android. And for some reason, Google Store does not have the flight simulator yet. So for Android, they haven't even made the simulator. Besides that, I haven't bothered looking into, because like I said, I don't have the time of any of that stuff. So I want to make sure that the way you can relate to me is that I'm a busy person. I have a full-time job. I do these videos. I do the editing for all that stuff. I film myself. I do all that stuff. I don't have time for a simulator. You know, I don't have time for go out and sit there for hours at a time just to learn how these controls for the simulator go, because I just don't have the time. I want to get this guy into the air and I want to film with it. And that's where that's the reason why I bought it, because of the safety features, because it has the capability of me being up in the air 200, 300 feet and learning how to fly it, because I'm learning on this. So I don't need no sim time. I don't need no simulator. If I fly upside down and I lost control or orientation of myself, I hit the pause button, guy. Boom, I'm hovering. And it's great. It's super good. I totally love it. These propellers, on the other hand, are total crap. I actually did line of sight flying in Aquamode, and I utilized this for that. So the reason for that is because this is a nice green. As you guys can see, it's like super bright, right? It's like super, super, super bright. And because of that, the way the orientation is, you're going to be able to tell when you fly this in line of sight mode in acro, you're going to be able to know what direction she's actually facing. So I installed this, I put it on, and I flew it in line of sight, and I was flying around with it. So you don't get that whole seasick kind of thing, and you still have orientation. And if you ever feel like, oh, I don't know where I'm at, because you are like 80 feet up in the air or 60 feet up in the air, you don't know where you're at, boom, hit the pause button. You're going to see how she just hovers. Now you're going to see from far away, you're going to see this green thing. You see that in the background over there? Again, you're going to see this green thing, just like we see our Autel Evo 2, because it's bright orange. This is bright green. And it actually helps you if you want to fly line of sight and in acro mode. And I did that multiple times. And I think I'm better in acro mode when I fly in line of sight than through those goggles, because I still have to get used to these goggles. This view that you have is more like you can compare it when you're sitting in a theater and you have a screen in front of you. So when you have this stuff right in front of you like this, it's like this far away, like it's only a few inches away from your eyes, and you're looking at it, and you pretty much like looking at a bigger screen, and you end up doing this whole because you know already in your head where you want to go, so you start looking down or you start looking up, and then you move the drone that way too. I did power loops, I did rolls, I did all kinds of stuff already with it, and I did rolls a little bit too much. It actually made me a little bit sick, so I prefer not to. What this is made for is pretty much like that whole flying along coastlines, getting like those bank shots, diving down into something. That's what I want to get into. That's where I want to put this investment into, to support my GPS shots with these FPV shots. I don't necessarily want to do this whole freestyle thing and doing power loops and back and forth and underneath trees and just going faster on parking lot, because the range on this thing is super good. So if you have a long coastline where you know that if you're standing on this edge of the end of the cliff and you can see that whole coastline, you can go thousands and thousands of feet. If you have an observer who can watch it for you and you own your goggles, you can get some beautiful shots, guys. Totally beautiful shots. And it's awesome. I don't know what to say. I like this drone. I like this whole I think the Flymo combo is the better deal than just the regular combo, because with the regular combo you have one battery. That battery is going to last you in acro mode at last the max maybe 10 minutes. That's if you're not pushing it hard. If you're pushing it hard, guarantee it's going to last you like 5, 6, 7 minutes. You can literally see I had at some point 70%, and I was cruising around, and at that time I was flying already like 5 minutes, and I had 70%. I switched into Aquamode, and as soon as I started doing a couple bangs and diving down and pushing her back up, the voltage gets drained out of these batteries within like seconds. So you can see it. I had like 40 seconds. I mean, I had a few seconds later, I had like 40%. You know, it was literally like a minute in, and all of a sudden it showed 42%. And I was like, whoa, this is crazy. So the Fly Mode combo is definitely better because you can just bring the bird back. The other good part about this whole thing is you never ever do you have to worry about taking off or landing. You flip the switch when you're done flying your stuff. You're down to 25%. She give you a low battery warning. You know where you at. Boom. You hit her into sport mode. She goes into sport mode, or you hit the pause button. You stop and you bring yourself back. The cool part about this whole thing is when you fly it in whatever mode it is, as long as you are looking through these goggles and wherever you're facing, you always have that small H. There's a small H that shows you where you're home. So if you're going somewhere and all of a sudden from up there it looks totally different than from down here, which is usually the case, and you lose orientation, you turn a little bit and you're going to see where the H is, and you bring your drone back to your H. And if you're in sport mode and you bring it back, 25% brings you far away. So you can bring it back. You can flip the gimbal downwards a little bit so you can look downwards, and you actually can see the bottom of your drone. And then you just bring it close to you, and you just hold the stick downwards, and you just bring it down. And it's you have no problems landing. She's not going to ground out. She's not going to hit the ground really hard because you have to land in aqua mode. That's the beauty about this thing. And those things is totally, I mean, you can't expect to have a commercialized freestyle drone out there yet at this point. This is the first time that these guys brought this out. And that's where you have to look at it. And like I said, as soon as the floodgates opened, when the release came out on this drone, and there were like so many videos. I watched so many videos, and I got totally confused. I didn't know what to think. I was watching Ken Herring, I was watching Original Adobe, I was watching Billy Kyle, I was watching Nerk, I was watching all these people that were coming out, and some of them had some beautiful footage that was super nice, but you could tell that they were experienced FPV pilots. And I was like, is there anybody out there that does not have that? And then had DroneXFactor, and he was just like me. Never flown FPV before, but he had 24 hours on the simulator prior to that, which in some point was like 6 hours straight. And he did a pretty good video too. And I liked his stuff. I liked his style. He sat in his car and he was doing his thing, and he said the same thing. If you up high in the sky, you have no problems whatsoever to do a couple loops, couple rolls, do your thing. And it was really, really good. Batuna said, yeah, FPV is totally different. Would like to see the motion hand controller have some flying time on helicopters. Wonder if it would feel like handling the control stick. You know, when I seen that stick, that's another thing. You have to buy that extra. It does not come with this combo kit, so that's another $300 on top of your $1,600. So you're gonna have with 10 grand. I mean, $2 grand total, which is, I don't know if I want to pick up the stick. But the one thing that I was thinking about, if you do have that stick and you put it like in the bottom, you put a small ball joint or something, and you mount it to somewhere to go forward, backwards, sideways. I wonder if that would work, you know, to have more, or use a longer stick that you step on with your finger or with your feet, and you just push it forward like a helicopter. I was thinking the same thing, helicopter kind of style flying. So Johnny Trustel said, hey, Andy, I've been flying from inside my truck. That way nobody can sneak up and kick me in the nuts. That's why you're supposed to have a spotter, my friend. Supposed to have your buddy with you who's got your back. That's another thing. If you do go FPV, make sure that you have somebody who can go with you, even if it's your wife, your son, your kids, your friends, whoever wants to come with you, to just to make sure that you have somebody watching your back and watching your drone. You're supposed to have legally in the United States. You're supposed to have a spotter. So it's always good to have somebody else with you. Plus, when you fly and you have, like me, sometimes I take my backpack with me and I have all my stuff in there. So now I'll put the backpack on the bottom over there. So now I'm busy for the next 5 to 6 minutes. I don't have time to focus on anything else. Yes, I can still hear something, but if somebody picks up my backpack right behind me from the bench and just walks away, I would not know, because, yeah, I can put this bad boy into pause. But have you ever taken off these goggles after like a few minutes and you looked around? It's super bright, guys. It's like, because you are kept in the dark. It's like holding your eyes shut the whole time, and then you look into a bright light. And that's pretty much what this is. So you got to be careful. So always make sure that you bring somebody else with you that is going to be able to watch your shit. Oh, sorry. To watch your stuff, watch your back, and definitely observe your drone while you do your thing to tell you if there's cars coming, if there's people might be walking through, you might have not been able to see them, whatever. But just make sure you have somebody who actually is going to help you out with that whole thing. Besides that, there's multiple accessories already available now that they have. There's one, it's like, I don't know what's really for, but it's like they have those stabilization arms in here that connect these two like this. So it goes right across, connects by the motor. So I'm assuming for those who really want to cut this close and hit something, whack something, that when the drone turns this way, that the arm does not really break off. Yeah, about that, guys. It's like this thing can go 80 miles an hour. And if you hit something 80 miles an hour with plastic like this, you think that brace is going to help you. It's going to, in my eyes, it's going to cause it that you rip off the back one too. So I'm not quite sure if I really like that. So let's see. John Hennessy, hey, big brother, just checking in if the firmware for Autel is safe to download. Sorry about shifting conversation. I don't know. I just downloaded it. I put it onto 2.6. What is it? 2.2. I got an email from Autel that they told me that it is official now, and you have to upgrade your Autel Explorer app. I had an issue with that with the Triple Tack, where I went into the Android store, and just like with my phone, I went into the Android store. On my phone, the Android store said that I had to upgrade to 1.7.38, while on the Triple Tack it didn't. So is there a different Google App Store? I don't know. That's the funny part. So my Triple Tack is currently not up to date on the Autel Explorer. So I'm going to try see if I can find a standalone version to download so I can put it on a card and throw it in here and install it from there. 2.622 has brought hyperlapse orbit. So I'm going out tomorrow and I'm going to try it. I don't want to throw out a video about a driver that I haven't flown extensively. As you guys know me, I try out everything to the max first before I tell you anything about it. It's one of the reasons, too, why these videos are coming late of the DJI FPV. Plus, I wanted to let it a little bit cool off. Everybody else was throwing out FPV videos, and they still do, but not as much as they had like 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, there were like 8 videos a day, you know, and then so I just like, you know what, I'm going to take her along later after I did all this stuff where I looked into all these things, where I tried all this stuff. So I think it's better if I try things out first, run them longer, so that I can give you accurate information about my impressions on that whole thing, how I think it works out. You know what I mean? So, but a lot of people have said that 2.622 is actually pretty good. Just got in. So what is your verdict? The pros and cons. So the pros and cons on this drone. The pros, I think, is because it's a whole setup. You get everything on the Fly More combo, especially because you get a multi-port charger that charges up your stuff. You get 3 batteries. You get these goggles with antennas and battery for it, head strap, whatever. You get everything you need to fly this bad boy. You get 1 extra set of propellers. I would pick up a couple more if it were you. I think they run like $50 for 2 sets total. So that's $25 a set, guys. That's a lot. So I do not intend to get any closer to rain gutters anymore, but it comes with that. It does come with this extra shell, which I utilize because it's nice and green. So the pros are that you don't have to learn how to put FPV together. You don't have to solder anything. You don't have to weight scale, balance anything. You don't have to worry about your batteries blowing up in your backyard yet. I mean, that I don't know. But these batteries are pretty solid, pretty safe. They're just like every other DJI battery. And you get 3 of them. So you get a total flight time if you whack it completely in like freaking acro mode for like 3 times in a row. These motors come pretty hot and the arms come pretty hot too. So you get like 20 minutes of that acro mode straight out the box, just like that. And I think that's one of the biggest pros. The other good pro is the safety features. Safety features that is going to be up the yin yang, trying to protect your drone off crashing. So biggest one of that is your best friend right here is the pause button. Always hover over that pause button. Just in case you lose orientation, you will learn how to fly that FPV. Like I said, the cons on this whole thing that I've seen so far is the building quality is pretty solid, but for the purpose, scene and lift kind, if you really want to go in between things, I think it's kind of rubbish. They should have used carbon fiber. I would have paid, I think I would have been willing to pay $1,800 for it if it would have been in carbon fiber. Just like that. I mean, it is a beautiful design, and I mean, once you get this bad boy, and just alone this whole that startup sound is like, when I first got this and I did it, I think I started it up like 5 times, 6 times, just because I wanted to hear it. Like, it sounded vicious, it sounded like a beast, it sounded really aggressive, and like back then when Android first came out and they had that roid kind of sound, the startup sound, just like that. It was something new. So that's the pros. The cons is the structural kind of thing, but it's still pretty solid. Like, it is heavy. It's 795 grams, and if you imagine 90 miles an hour flying through your head, going 90 miles an hour, you're gonna die. You can kill somebody with this easy. But I mean, you can kill somebody with an Autel Evo 2 as well, just by having a malfunction on the top. It's unlikely high the risk like it is with this, because you can turn off these propellers too in the air, like boop. Like, you know how we arm our GPS drones? You can arm this like that, but you can also turn it off like that in the air. So it's just going to be a drop dead weight kind of thing, and to start it up, it's just like an emergency function to turn off your propellers. I have not deactivated that option, that to enable these propeller stops, emergency propeller stops, because I don't believe in it. I'd rather have these propellers run themselves into the ground until there's nothing left, and I just have spinning rods than turning off my propellers on accident because I panicked and poof, all of a sudden you have 350 feet and you have a 795 gram drone just falling to the sky. A lot of more cons, there is not really any based on this, because the safety features outrank everything I've ever seen. Because you have sensors, just like every other drone has. They are forward facing, they're not all the way around, but it tells you when you go forward how she's going to slow you down. You know how Autel Evo 2, she stops dead in the tracks. You can't go anywhere, right? With this, on the other hand, is pretty nice. She only slows you down, so you're still on your own. Another bad part about this whole thing is geo fencing. If you are in areas where you think that you could fly, because you're only going like 20, 30 feet, because you're a really good FPV pilot, and this is going to be annoying. This is not going to be the drone for you. Plus, it's a little bit more on the soggy side because she's heavy. She's not going to be as agile and nimble as people are used to a 3-inch or 5-inch quadcopter, and this is more like a 5-inch. But what makes up for that is the convenience. You know, the convenience of having all this already done. All you got to do is slap on these propellers, charge up your batteries, charge up this stuff, set it all up, screw in the batteries and the antennas, and put on the goggles, and you're good to go. You're flying. You know, I think that's great. So besides that, the cons wise is I think they could have done like more of a tutorial, because they have a lot of updates every time running through. And it's just like with every other drone, once you get them, you have to do updates. The bad part is the activation. So for Android users, if you didn't know, Google App Store does not have the current version of DJI Fly app. So you're not going to be able to activate this bird unless you have a computer and you go on the computer. That's another con right there. You go on the computer, you go onto the DJI website, and you download the latest firmware DJI Fly app, which is 1.3.0. There's so many numbers these days. 1.3.0. If you have 1.3.0 and you throw that onto a memory card and then throw it onto your phone, or you go with your phone onto the website and download it from there and then install the DJI Fly app, no problem. Then you're going to be able to activate this bird. Other than that, don't go onto the Google App Store, because you go onto the Google App Store or the Play Store, you're not going to be able to download the right version. So you're not going to be able to activate this drone. So that's another con, I guess. They are very Apple oriented, so they have like iOS as a priority over Android. So if you're an Android dude, you might want to wait a little bit, save your money until they work out those nicks and things. But I think they will. And by now, as of now, there is no simulator available. There is one. It's called Oh, Freerider. There's a Freerider app that is so you can hook up a controller, USB controller and stuff, and you can fly like simulator wise. That seems to be one of the better ones. I can't. I tried. I paid the $7 for it. I downloaded it. I put it on my phone, and I don't like it. I don't like simulators. I'm not a big fan of it. I just feel like it's just like pinball machines. Pinball machines is the best comparison to this. You ever played a simulation on a pinball machine and you played the real deal pinball machine? That's pretty much what this is. Like the pinball machine simulation, yeah, it's sort of like can give you the feel. It gives you pretty much a direction of orientation of your thumbs where they have to be if you want to practice and simulate, and that's pretty much what it's all about. And but it just the feel is different, you know, and it's that's why that's why I probably not gonna do simulator much, except for if you really want to get a really good FPV pilot. But safety feature wise, you don't really need it. You know, just go up there. All you need is height. Go up there, go 300 feet, and then throw into acro. Learn from there. You know, so what we have? John Hennessy said, "I trust you and your option. My option? APKPure might have it if the goggle store. I'm lost already. So sounds like you definitely want to take the spring out of the toggles. Actually, I did it on this one just because the guy was flying it, and I left it like that for now. I was flying a lot of times in acro mode, in spring loaded mode, and I actually like it. You know why? Because if you are doing what I'm doing and you want to get those cinematic flyby shots with the banking part, you don't have to take the tensioner out. The reason why these people take the tensioner out is because they're doing those. What they do is they spool up. Now they get off the throttle and they let the drone just hover, fly. Like it's like you slinging something, you're flying it into a certain direction, and then you just direct like the pitch of it. That's what this drone does. That's the reason why they want to get off the throttle. You still have a little bit more of the spin, but it doesn't really give it any more thrust until you direct it into the direction where you want it, and then they spool up again. So to get off the throttle, it's easier to loosen this up. You don't have to if you're just doing what I'm doing and you just bank down somewhere, because you can push it backwards like this, and then when you need some sort of cruising speed, you just let go and you have like half of the joystick up, which is half the speed, not full speed, but you can lean forward and you have like a cruise control. I like that actually better, so that's why I'm gonna tighten this stick back up to that part. Plus, it gives me a little bit more of the feel of where I'm at. If you loosen this up and you go up and down, you don't know where you're at. When you're spring loaded, because she wants to come back into the center, you kind of know where you're at, because the right side is like that. It has that small stopping part in your thumb, and since I'm not a pincher, I'm going to be able to tell where my stick is at that point, because I'm not really looking at it like with these drones, like right here, the Autel Evo 2 and stuff. I can see my controllers. I can see the sticks. With this, I get the goggles on, so I can't see it. So I would actually say if you're not in it for freestyling and racing, you don't have to remove the spring loaded stuff from it. You have sort of like a cruise control where the drone will guarantee rise if you leave the stick just as it is. You know what I mean? Once you reach a certain height, because you can change inside there the height limitations, she's not gonna go any further. She's just gonna go, oh, and then she's gonna stay there. And then it says flight altitude reached, you know, max altitude reached. So I'm too lazy to constantly download firmware. Well, 2.622 for the Autel has been a while before anything happened. So it's been a while before. I think the last update we had was December. So they took a lot of months for that, you know. And then we have Sexy Justice says, I've been having latency issues with the drone. Really? I have not had any. I have not had any latency issues at all. So refresh rate on simulator can cause motion sickness. Real life flying, I had no issue. See, so that's pretty much the same thing with me. Like if Lee F, $1.99. I appreciate it. Super sticker. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. It's not a must, but I appreciate it. I deeply do. So refresh rate on simulator can cause motion sickness. Real life flying, I had no issue. See, the thing about that is when you fly with this, the range that this thing has and the strength, and I fly in high quality and stuff because I'm spoiled, you know. and I'm a GPS guy, I want to see what it is. If it comes a little bit pixelated and blurry, I'm like, "What, am I out of range or anything?" And I look how far I'm at, and then I ask my observer, "So where is it at?" And he said, "Oh, I can see it." I said, "So if you can see it, how come it's pixelated?" So I'm spoiled, you know. But it's because interference, there's trees in between and all that stuff. But these goggles, it looks crystal clear. It looks really nice. Like there's no, when you played back then, like old video games, and sometimes you move the stick and then it takes the computer to wait a little, the latency. You don't even have that in here. Like it literally happens the moment you move that stick. That's amazing. This is crazy technology. This is really nuts. This is something different, you know. Catches copies of software versions that you can install via the app. It lets you find older or newer versions of common software. Free service, ad supported. Oh wow, I did not know that. So if you guys see the APK Pure catches copies of software versions that you can install via the app. That sounds pretty interesting. Johnny Truesdale said, like I told you, bro, DCV Drone Championship League on Steam using DJI's controller is pretty sweet. It's literally so fun. It puts a smile on your face. Chasing the trains around and through buildings. That sounds like something. So if you are familiar with Steam, Steam is like an online platform, just like Origin is and stuff, which is, or it's like, Steam is like the Netflix version of PC games. Yeah. So you buy the digital copy, you make an account, you download it from there, and then apparently you can hook up this DJI controller. So there is a video that Johnny Truesdale sent me the other day for check it out, and then you're going to be able to fly in that simulator and utilizing this controller. That's another thing too. If I wanted to try a simulator, I would have liked to try a simulator with this controller as well. So I wouldn't have want to have a controller, a non DJI controller, because it's always going to feel different. I mean, if you're like me, I play PlayStation as well. So if you play with a PlayStation controller and then you go to somebody's house who has an Xbox, it totally feels different. So that's why I think this should be just like that as well. So apparently that Steam game is pretty good. So Lee Bessing, I just upgraded Autel Explorer, now loading the new firmware to my E2P6K. Yes, and you have to do it for every battery as well. Sorry to tell you, but every battery. Johnny Truesdale, but not wearing goggles, of course. Yeah, of course, you're going to use it on a screen, but I think that's going to help you too a little bit to get the transition over and stuff, so you get used to that whole jerkiness and stuff. Hot Rod, we learned something very important about the DJI FPV drone today at the meeting in Florida. Oh, yeah? It doesn't float. Yeah, well, that's like not rocket science, I could have told you that this thing it sinks like a brick, what I mean? I think I seen a video where somebody went in the water to grab it and then they pulled the battery out on Ken Dono's Facebook. So yeah, so that's DJI FPV for you. I have a lot of videos that are gonna pop out. I have the video that you just seen is gonna be the first one to come out. Right after that, I have another video, and I have a small surprise that I will be announcing later on this week, sometime after I get off the phone with Flight Path. And I'm sorry. So well, then I got to do it 3 times. I've got 4 battery. Yeah, okay. See, I had to do it 4 times, but I did it pretty quick. The update for the Autel Evo 2 was maybe like 45 minutes. They jumped in and they did find it. Yeah, I seen the guy coming out with it. So yeah, I hope the water was warm. But so besides that, I think DJI FPV has a lot of things to offer. You're gonna see my first flight. You're gonna see my first impression of it. You're gonna see my my first time Aquamode as well, which is terrible. And I'm still bad at it. So I'm nowhere near anybody's class. But that's what makes it authentic. And I'm gonna tell you if I find any other Nixon things. Oh, one Nixon thing about it is they give you a wire that you can put on the side right here, next to where you get the micro SD card. So you plug this in while you're wearing it. You plug this USB-C in, and then you have a longer USB wire to whatever. So you wear these goggles and you have this longer wire. Okay. on this longer wire, shall it be USB-C, shall it be the micro USB or the iPhone one, you can put it onto any device. What happens with that is whoever is watching you, because it's connecting to the DJI Fly app, they're going to be able to watch you fly live. Of literally what you're seeing in your goggles is what they're going to be seeing on the screen. But you press the record button and that screen goes blank. So I hope they're going to fix that. I mean, it's a lot of processing power, and I'm not sure if those goggles are going to be able to process that at the same time to push out that type of image to the device that you want to transmit to. But it turns off. So it's kind of a turn off. So unless you don't intend to record your flight, that function is kind of useless. You know, if you really want to show it off a little bit, but usually you record the footage and that's when you share it or you show it to somebody. So that's the reason why you really, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. So that's one of those things that I don't like about it. He was using the stick when he dropped it in the water. Yeah. Oh, so he had that stick. Okay, I got it. Johnny, hey, do you want to borrow that stick controller? Mine's still in the box, but you can have it for a month if you like. Really? Can you actually use it on another drone, or does it pair? No, it's like pairing part, right? You just hold the button. Well, I would appreciate that. That's Johnny Truesdell. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the myth, the legend for who makes the Skyfire aerial. And he's a very, very, very nice guy, as you can see. FY, Amazon Prime has the Autel Evo 2 Pro 8K on sale, $1,529.14 for another 2.5 hours. Yeah, so if you want to go out there and you want to follow one of my affiliate links, and then buy the drone after, so I can get a little bit something for it. I wanted to tell all of you guys, thank you so much for constantly viewing, constantly supporting me. We are already at 2,800 something subscribers. Like I can't even keep up with that because I'm so busy with everything. I don't even check my analytics. But when I did check my analytics, I have to tell you guys, thank you. My view time has been going up. My view count has been going up, and I haven't even put out anything besides these live streams and then a couple Nicks and Things videos here. But there's a lot more to come. And I do appreciate all you guys that bought me coffee. So that's another thing that really works, because I do drink a lot of coffee. You can ask everybody that knows me, I drink a lot of coffee. So I deeply appreciate it. So if there's nothing else, I would say I'll see you guys on the flip side. Don't forget, COVID-19 is still out there to get you. I love you guys all. Be a nice human. Wear a mask and wash your hands. Take it easy, everybody. Aloha.